you guys have not heard of Casey and Callie Means, these are some people to look up. They just did an interview with Tucker Carlson, and the truth bombs they were laying out were just amazing. If you don't know how crazy it's gotten, one of the things they talked about was this new food pyramid that was released by Tufts University. So this was 3 years of research and millions of dollars to do this research, to come out with the results that Lucky Charms is healthier than ground beef or an egg or a steak. Now, how does this insanity, get published? Well, take a look, follow the money. This was partially funded by General Mills, and surprise, surprise, all these cereals, Cheerios, Lucky Charms, Raisin Bran, all these cereals have ended up on the healthy end of this spectrum. So they rated foods from 1, which is the worst, to 100, which is the best. Let me tell you what some of these ratings were. So chocolate-covered almonds got a rating of 78. So that's pretty darn healthy according to this scale. Ground beef, a 26. What? Listen, I know people that would rather eat handfuls of chocolate-covered almonds than fix themselves, a nice lunch with some beef. They'd be very happy to read this, but let me tell you, it's not going to make them healthier. Lucky Charms rated a 60, and a whole egg fried in butter rated a 29. Again, crazy. A pita bread rated a 1, and then cereals made out of almost identical materials. We've got Cheerios rating a 95, Frosted Mini Wheats an 87, and Raisin Bran a 72. So you guys follow the money. And it's just phenomenal, when you look around at our health in the United States. And hey, I've had a lot of videos go viral talking about this. Wow, the US allows this in our food supply. Europe doesn't allow this. Japan doesn't allow this. I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, oh my gosh, I went on vacation to Italy. I drank wine, I ate pasta. I was so upset that I was going to end up being bad. But even with this, my stomach pain went away. My energy was better. I felt good. It happens so often. It's the quality of our food. So, you guys, 40% of Americans are clinically obese. 71.6% of adults over 20 are considered overweight. And for the first time in decades, I remember when this study came out, life expectancy now has fallen for the first time. So our life expectancy now is less than what parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, had. So it's crazy. And people rely on agencies like the FDA to be sure that we get healthy things in our food supply, but that's not the way it works. These agencies, unfortunately, have been captured by the giant corporations that are feeding this whole system that starts us off young, feeds us crappy food, gets us sick, and then ushers us straight into the medical field where the pharmaceutical industry has captured, and then we're drugged, and then we go along and think it's normal to feel this way. It's normal to be on 10 medications when you're age 60. This is not an unusual thing. People are on multiple medications. All you have to do is follow the money. That's all you have to do to find out why these things are happening. So I think people are waking up a lot. This, for me personally, because I've been in this field for 34 years as at the time of this filming, and it's been kind of discouraging, for a while to watch people get sicker and sicker. Cancer is increasing. It's about to be 1 in 2 before long. Autism, my God, is 1 in 36 now. 1 in 36. And in 2000, just 24 years ago, it was 1 in 1,500, which is still way more than it was, before. But you look at everything. When I was a kid in school, nobody had a peanut allergy. Now I have teachers that have to keep EpiPens. I had one nursery school teacher who told me she had 13 EpiPens she had to keep for the toddlers in her nursery school class because there's so many had anaphylactic allergies. It's because of the bad food and the toxic environment. Autoimmune conditions on the rise. You look at anything, diabetes. The statistics are horrible on diabetes. 50% of adults and 30% of teenagers in the US either have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. That's crazy. This used to be non-existent pretty much. Like a child with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes was unheard of 2 generations ago. Even overweight people, they talked about this in the interview, 80 years ago, if you were obese, you were in a sideshow at a circus. You know what I mean? Like it was so unusual that papers, medical papers were written about it. Like, wow, what would cause this person to become like this? Now, 50% of Americans are clinically obese. It's gotten out of control. 1% of Americans in 1950s had type 2 diabetes. 1%. Look at that now. I've talked about some of the others. All of this is driven by what's called metabolic dysfunction. Now, what is that actually? Metabolism is how we convert food to energy and excrete waste products. Dysfunction is, of course, it's not working properly. So we are exposed to these toxins in the environment. We're exposed to this crappy food that we all eat. And believe me, even when you try to go organic, it's questionable about some of the things you get. Now we've got this appeal, coating that can be on organic produce. You have to watch for it. Thankfully, they label it, but we don't know everything that's in that peel. It keeps the food from going bad. One of my favorite nutrition quotes from, way back in the day was Bernard Jensen. He brought iridology to the United States. He studied cultures around the world for how healthy they were and what their nutrition was. And his quote is that nutrition is very simple. Buy food that's going to go bad and eat it before it does. You can't get simpler than that. It's not normal for food to last a long, long time. My friend has a Happy Meal that is, I think it was 19 years old by the time she finally discarded it. It didn't go bad. There was no mold that grew on the bun. It just kind of shriveled up a little bit. And so that's disgusting. That's what we're eating. And it's no wonder that we have the health problems that we do. But this metabolic dysfunction is behind all these chronic health conditions. Cancer is a metabolic disease. Type 2 diabetes. Alzheimer is now known as type 3 diabetes. So folks, the common denominator is horrible food, a toxic environment.